Hello, young people. It's time for another round of videos. Unit 2.4, Cycles and Cycle Models. Got my notes here, and hopefully I can use them to make a good video for you to make your notes. Like all of our units, we start out by talking about a phenomenon, the textbook does. And in this case, our phenomenon is that in 1986, this entire village, nearly 2,000 people all died, kind of all at the same time, and like 3,000 cows. And the reason they all died at the same time is because they lived in this mountain village, and there was a lake further up in the mountains, and this lake kind of burped out this massive amount of carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is a gas in the atmosphere, as you probably know. Carbon dioxide is heavier than the air that we breathe. And because of that, this lake that was up the hill from this village, it burped out this carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide all went down the hill, settled in the valley, and everybody suffocated, cows included. So that's our phenomenon that we start with, and doesn't really come back to that quite as much as some of the other chapters do, but it does. But it's a great lead-in because CO2 gas, carbon dioxide, is part of an important cycle, and that's the title of our chapter, or our unit, Cycles and Cycle Models. And the cycle that we are talking about is the carbon cycle. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the carbon cycle. We learned about it in junior high science and biology. We learn about it in darn near every science class that we ever take, because it's that important. It's that important to life on Earth. So, quick crash course in case we're not familiar. Carbon is a chemical element. It's found on the periodic table. It is element number 6 on the periodic table, and it is element number 6 because every atom of carbon contains 6 protons, subatomic particles. You'll learn more about that in chemistry. Carbon's really important to us. There isn't actually all that much of it compared to everything else on Earth. There's a lot more of pretty much everything else, but it's super important. It's found in all 4 of the main spheres on Earth. Of course, the atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and geosphere. In the atmosphere, carbon is found in the form of carbon dioxide gas, just like what killed off those poor villagers. But it is less than, it's about 0.05% of the atmosphere. Very small portion. Very small portion. It's about half of 1% of the atmosphere. In the hydrosphere, carbon dioxide gas dissolves in water. It dissolves in ocean water. Even so, it is about 1/10 of 1% of the ocean. Carbon dioxide makes up about 1/10 of 1% of the ocean. In the biosphere, carbon's everywhere. It's all over the place. Almost every living organism on Earth depends on carbon and is actually made out of carbon, you and I included. And in the geosphere, Carbon is found in the form of oil, natural gas, coal, um, all that stuff that we mine for energy, but also in the form of carbonate rocks, um, rocks that have a high concentration of calcium carbonate. All right. That's 5 minutes. We'll wrap up there for video number 1. And when we get to part 2, we will start investigating some of the specific ways that carbon moves between our 4 big spheres, our 4 big systems here on Earth. See you there.